You go. Ready to go.
All right. Victor Vela? Nope. Reverend Williams? Mr. Williams? Master Finch, where's your client?
Here, Your Honor.
I don't see you, Mr. Finch. I hear you. Mr.
I'm
Williams,
here.
all right. But I need to see you, sir. All right.
I don't know if you can see me, Judge, but I'm here.
I can see you, but you're moving around. I need to see you stable. Sit down somewhere or something, please. All right. And Alfred Garcia.
Judge, we're both present. He's on the screen as Alfred. Alfred, please turn on your camera. Turn on the camera.
There we go.
Okay. I need the following people to raise their right hand. Harry Fagelson, raise your right hand. Jesse Champa, if you come in. Jesse?
Yes, sir.
Albert Rendon. Reverend Williams and Alfred Garcia, please raise your right hands. Do each of you solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Alfred Garcia,
I do.
you may put your hand down. Mr. Williams,
Yes, Your Honor.
you may put your hand down. Victoria Martinez, still not present. Albert Rendon,
I do, Your Honor.
thank you. Jesse Chapa,
Yes, sir.
thank you. And Harry Fagelson,
Yes, Your Honor.
thank you. All of you can put your hand down. Now, each of you has certain rights and protections that I'm going to talk to you about. Individually, each of you has the right to remain silent. That means that none of you, every one of you cannot be compelled or forced to make any kind of statement, answer any questions, or submit written paperwork that has your signature, especially papers that admit or confess to wrongdoing. Do you understand you have that right? Mr.
Yes.
Fagelson,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Chapa,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rendon,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, Your Honor.
and Mr. Alfred Garcia.
Yes, sir.
Each of you has the right to a jury trial in your individual case. That means that you and your attorney and the state could select 6 people from a jury pool of disinterested citizens to hear the entire trial, all the evidence, materials, everything, testimony, and that jury would decide whether you are not guilty or whether you have been proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. That's called the right to a jury trial. You understand you have that right, Mr. Albert Rendon,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jesse Chapa,
Yes, sir, I do.
Mr. Harry Fagelson,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Reverend Williams.
Yes, Your Honor.
And by the way, how do you say that first name?
Iron,
Pardon me?
Draviren,
Reverend?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Alfred Garcia, you understand you have the right to a jury trial.
Yes, sir.
Each of you individually has the right to confront witnesses. What that means is if you decided to go to trial the state would have to try and prove you guilty, and they'd have to submit witnesses to do it. You and your attorney would have the right in your individual cases, respectively, you'd have the right to question, cross-examine, or challenge every witness. That's called the right of confrontation. You understand you have that right, Mr. Alfred Garcia,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dravarn Williams,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Albert Rendon,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jesse Chapa,
Yes, sir, I do.
Mr. Harry Fagelson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Each of you has the right of appeal. Now, that's a tricky and difficult right that has technical limitations or matters that you have to file. You have to be careful about the paperwork, the substance, and the type of paperwork that you would submit. You also have time limitations. In that, you would demand that a higher court review the official record and the evidence in each of your individual cases. That's called the right of appeal. You understand yet? You have that right, Mr. Albert Rendon.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Dravarn Williams,
Yes, Your Honor.
Alfred Garcia,
Yes, sir.
Jesse Chapa,
Yes, sir.
and Harry Fagelson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, when all is said and done, this matter, you could demand, by the way, that you and the state in each of your individual cases, you have the right to demand that this proceeding be held in the open public courtroom in County Court at Law Number 5. Because of the COVID pandemic, we're not doing that. But in order for you to proceed today, you had to review and sign a written document titled Defendant's Consent to Video Conference, meaning that you agree, instead of doing this in the open public courtroom with everybody present, we're doing it by computer. And in fact, it is on YouTube. Do you know that you have the right to demand the open public courtroom? Mr. Alfred Garcia,
Yes, sir.
Dravarn Williams. Mr. Williams,
Yes, sir.
all right. Albert Rendon,
Yes, Your Honor.
Jesse Chapa,
Yes, sir.
and Harry Fagelson.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, gentlemen, each of you signed document for this proceeding. And before you signed that, you should have reviewed these documents with your individual attorney. That each of you, the papers that are in your individual case, that each of you review with your attorney and sign those documents that have your signature. Mr. Fagelson,
Yes, Your Honor.
Jesse Chapa,
Yes, Your Honor.
Albert Rendon,
Yes, Your Honor.
Dravarn Williams,
Yes, Your Honor.
and Alfred Garcia.
Yes, sir.
Do any of you have questions or doubts about the paperwork that you signed that have not been answered or resolved? Mr. Alfred Garcia,
No, sir.
Dravarn Williams,
No, sir.
Albert Rendon,
No, sir.
Jesse Chapa,
No, sir.
Harry Fagelson.
No, sir.
Each of you signed a document that's titled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition. This document is a pretty loaded document. It identifies you individually and your case number. Then in that document, it reviews, it says that you, each of you, acknowledge the rights and protections that I have talked to you about, but they're in writing, that you acknowledge that they've been reviewed with you and you understand them. In that same document, it also tells you there's 14 numbered parts where they remind you of different things and different protections and rights and the very important matters that you're involved in your case. One thing in particular tells you that whatever deal you've made with the state, it is not binding on me as the judge. As a judge, I have the authority and the responsibility to decide on each of your cases whether I approve and agree with your deal or whether I reject it. I also have the right and authority and the responsibility to set your punishment. I have to do it within the range of punishment for your individual case. If I reject your deal, I say, nope, I'm not taking this, I'm not accepting it. Or if I give you a punishment within the range, but heavier than what you agreed to, then in that case, the law would allow you to start all over again. And that's part of that big document titled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition. Does anyone have any question about that document, and did you each sign it? Alfred Garcia,
Yes, sir, I do.
Bavarian Williams,
Yes, Your Honor.
Albert Rendon, rather,
Yes, sir.
Jesse Chapa,
Yes, sir.
and Harry Fagelson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did each of you see and sign and understand a document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal? What I've done in there is I am certifying to you individually that because you're doing a plea bargain deal, you do not have a right of appeal. Was that clear and understood? And did you sign that? Jesse Chapa,
Yes, sir.
Albert Rendon,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Alfred Garcia,
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Fagelson.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, state and defense, is Mr. Fagelson going to get probation?
Yes, Judge.
Will it be regular or deferred?
It is deferred, Judge.
All right. Will Mr. Jesse Chapa be getting probation?
Yes, Judge.
What kind?
Deferred.
All right. Mr. Albert Rendon,
Yes, Judge.
pardon me?
He is getting probation,
What kind?
adjudicated.
Okay. Mr. Williams. State, tell me about Mr. Williams. What kind of, is he going to get probation?
Sorry, Judge. Yes, it's deferred probation.
That's correct, Judge.
And Mr. Alfred Garcia.
It's deferred probation as well.
All right. All of you are applying for probation. With one exception, you're asking for deferred adjudication. Probation is a written, legal, binding agreement between you and this court. The basic agreement is that any jail term that you're given will be suspended or probated so long as each of you lives up to your conditions of probation, 100%. In the case of Mr. Rendon, you will be given a jail sentence and that will be suspended or probated. The rest of you will be granted deferred adjudication. Deferred adjudication probation means that even though you're going to enter a plea on which I can find you guilty, I will not find you guilty. I will defer or postpone that finding. If you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, then I do not find you guilty. If you live up to 100%, the case gets closed and you're not convicted of the charge on which you pled. So, if you screw up, you fail or refuse to obey 100% of the conditions of supervision, the state may ask me to bring you in after official notice. We'll have a hearing, and if in my opinion it's appropriate, then I will enter a finding of guilt that will follow you the rest of your life, a final conviction. And in addition, you'll be looking at 100% of the punishment range. That'll be available for me to punish you. Is everybody understanding what deferred and probation is? Mr. Figleson,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Chapa,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rendon,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garcia.
Yes, sir.
All right. Then state, tell me about Mr. Figleson. He was originally charged with DWI. Is there a motion?
Yes, Judge, we would move to add count 2, obstruction of highway, and then proceed solely on count 2.
Is this by amendment or by waiver?
It's an amendment, Judge. There currently is no count 2.
All right, Mr. Roundtree, do you object to the amendment? Tim Roundtree,
I do not, Judge. Sorry, I was muted.
and do you waive the 10-day notice?
We do, Judge.
All right. To the charge of obstruction of a passageway, waterway, highway, Mr. Figleson, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Is that the agreement, Mr. Roundtree?
It is, Judge.
All right, I accept your plea of guilty. Mr. Chapa. On
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chapa. Tell me what he's charged with, so state, are there any motions?
Judge, this one is charged, there are no motions. It's, I think, discharge of firearm. I don't have it in front of me, Judge. It's not a DWI and there are no motions.
It's a discharge of firearm within a municipality of more than X 100,000 or something.
That's correct, Judge. It's a Class A misdemeanor. I looked it up just to be double sure.
Okay. And it is going to be, what will be his plea?
I
I
have it here from the state, Judge.
I believe it's no contest, Judge.
His plea is no contest. That's correct.
Mr. Chapa, to the charge that is officially a charge against you of discharging a firearm in a municipality with the population as stated in the information and complaint. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
No, he pleads no contest, Judge.
All right. Mr. Chapa, officially you're pleading no contest. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I accept your plea of no contest. Mr. Albert Rendon. What is the motion of the state?
Your Honor, the state, yes, the state moves to waive the enhancement for second and proceed on a DWI first.
On the DWI first or misdemeanor B, commonly called. All right. Mr. Rendon, to that charge, how do you plead, sir? Well, excuse me, wait. Mr. Eduardo Garcia, is there any objection to the waiver of the enhancement by the state?
No, Your Honor.
I suspected as much, but Mr. Rendon, to the lower charge of DWI first or misdemeanor B, how do you plead, sir, officially?
There'll be no contest, Your Honor.
All right. I accept your plea of no contest. Mr. Javaran Williams, you were charged with unlawfully carrying a weapon in a motor vehicle. State, is there any motion?
Judge,
Thank-
which case was this?
Pardon me?
Which case was this, Judge?
664-697, Mr. Williams, on unlawfully carrying a weapon.
There are no motions, Judge.
All right. And to that charge, Mr. Williams, how do you plead?
Guilty.
No contest, Your Honor. That's what the paperwork says.
Mr. Williams, your plea, once again, officially is no contest?
Yes, sir.
All right. I accept your plea of no contest. Mr. Alfred Garcia, you were originally charged with driving while intoxicated with extreme intox, blood 0.015 or higher. To that charge, let's see, state has a motion.
Judge, on, this is 605954.
That's correct.
Yes, Judge, we would just move to add count 2, waive the extreme intoxication enhancement and proceed solely on count 2, obstruction of highway.
Defense, any objection? Mr. Volk, any
Judge,
objection?
no, I'm sorry. No objection, Your Honor. I
And
thought I
do
was.
you waive- and do you waive the 10-day notice?
Yes, I do.
All right, now, each of you has entered a plea of either no contest or guilty. A plea of no contest in this court is considered a guilty plea. Does everybody understand that? Mr. Chapa,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rendon,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
And Mr. Garcia, what was your official plea?
No contest.
All right. Do each of you and Mr. Garcia specifically, you understand that a no contest plea is considered a guilty plea in this court?
Yes, sir.
Did any of you that are pleading guilty or no contest, were any of you threatened, intimidated, or promised anything other than the plea bargain in exchange for your plea? Mr. Fagelson,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Chapa, hey guys, I can take another hour. I'm going to be here all day. Y'all want to wait around and take your time and not listen and get distracted? That's okay with me. Let's try it again. Were any of you intimidated or threatened or promised anything other than the plea bargain that you made in exchange for your plea? Mr. Fagelson,
Sorry, no, Your Honor.
Mr. Chapa,
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rendon,
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams,
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Garcia.
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Fagelson, I find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. Instead, I will be granting you deferred adjudication. State, tell me how long the deferred will be.
Judge, on Fagelson, it is 12 months deferred.
You are granted 12 months deferred adjudication. Fine,
It's $500.
$500 fine, court costs,
48 community service hours,
48 community service hours,
DWI education,
DWI education.
victim impact panel,
All right,
TAP evaluation, ignition interlock for half the term, and $60 restitution to DPS.
Mr. Roundtree, is this your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. And I would note that Mr. Fagelson, yes, it is, Judge. And I would note that Mr. Fagelson lives in, I believe it's in Travis County.
All right. And Mr. Fagelson, you agree with this, is this your agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what kind of an income do you make? What do you do? First of all, do you have any children you support?
No, sir, I don't have any children. I own a small solar energy company here in Austin, but we also work in other states as well.
All right, sir, tell me about basically what you're, generally speaking, what is your income?
It's around 150,000 a year.
All right. Now, Mr. Roundtree, tell me you were hired, not appointed.
I was, Judge.
Okay. I do not accept the fine of $500. With your income, sir, it's going to be $1,000. That means I am giving you a punishment greater than what you agreed to, and if you choose, you can start all over again. Is that understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you want to start all over again, or you want to accept that fine, the change in fine?
I'll accept the fine.
All right, sir. Then officially, you're fined $1,000 with court costs. You'll complete 48 hours of community service restitution. You'll do the DWI education program, the victim impact panel program. You will submit it to a TAP evaluation and the recommendations. You'll have ignition interlock installed in your personal vehicle during the 6 continuous months. You're not to drive any other vehicle other than the one you have with the ignition interlock. If you have a company with a multitude of vehicles, do not drive any other vehicle except the one that you normally drive with ignition interlock. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
You will pay a $60 one-time payment / donation to restitution to the Texas Department of Public Safety. Your supervisory fee will be $60 a month. You are permitted to reside in Travis County. I also give you permission to travel for your work or employment, so long as you inform your probation supervisor, your probation officer, of your movement, your whereabouts. For the full year, 12 months that you're on probation, do not drink alcohol or use illegal drugs. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Good luck to you. Stay out of trouble. Be safe.
Your Honor,
Thank you,
one other
Judge.
matter, would you allow Mr. Fagelson to make some donations in lieu of community service in light that he's out of county and travels a lot?
The court authorizes Mr. Fagelson to donate in lieu of the hours. We'll make it simply 50 hours at $15 an hour for any hour he chooses to donate instead of working. Technically, that's 2 hours more than what and you would have the right again to refuse and say, no, I want to start all over again. But that's your call. It'll be 50 hours at $15 an hour if you choose not to do the work, but instead donate. I prefer that you donate to the Gabriel Project here in San Antonio, but you have the option to donate instead to the San Antonio Food Bank. You got it?
Yes, Your Honor. And just to be clear, you said 50 hours if I decided to donate, and it would still be 48 if I decided to serve the community service normally?
That's correct.
Okay, I understand, sir.
And if you donated, it'll be at $15 an hour.
Your Honor, what was the,
You're required to come in and have your thumbprint placed on some of the documents as required by law. You have 1 week to come by to the offices of County Court Law number 5. Mr. Roundtree can guide you.
Judge, what was the supervisory fee?
The supervisory fee will be $60 a month. All righty?
Thank you, Judge. May we be excused?
Yes, you may.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Jesse Chapa.
Judge,
Judge, he would have to stay because I need to speak to him later.
Yes, I'm sorry. Mr. Fagelson, you have to meet with a lady by the name of Maricela Luna. She will get you started with the probation system. Don't leave this meeting until you've met with her and she instructs you, okay?
Okay, sir.
All right, good luck to you. Stay out of trouble. Jesse Chapa,
Yes, sir.
you have pled no contest to discharging a firearm as has been made a record.
Yes, sir.
I find that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not. Instead, you're granted deferred adjudication. State, tell me how long?
Judge, on this one, it is 10 months.
10 months deferred adjudication. Tell me what the rest of the sentence is.
Judge, it is a $300 probated fine plus court costs, 48 community service hours, MRT, a gun safety course, and no possession of firearms.
Mr. Chapa, is that your agreement?
Yes, sir.
Judge, if I may, for clarification, the no possession of firearms would be for the term of the probation, the 10 months. Is that correct?
That would be my understanding, and the state did not say otherwise.
And also, Judge, if I may, the MRT, can the state tell Mr. Chapa exactly what that is? I want to make sure that he understands that.
Yes, it's the moral recognition therapy. It's a class. It's typically offered when people go through PTD. Also typically for young people to kind of just help you get your life back on track and make better decisions.
And we're fine with that, Judge.
All right, tell me about your income, Mr. Chapa. What do you do for a living?
I'm a waiter at a restaurant.
And ordinarily, how much do you make in a month? I'm not talking about your official $2.15 salary. I'm talking hourly. I'm talking about including tips and stuff.
Honestly, I haven't been working there for a month yet. Only working there for a week. So I'd say.
What do you expect to be making?
Guess maybe
I don't hear you.
like $2,000.
All right, do you have children you support?
No, sir.
All right. I find that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not. You have been granted 10 months deferred adjudication. You're fined $300. The state has agreed, because of your limited income, to probate that fine. Don't forget what I said. If you screw up, they bring you back, will give you an official notice. And what you're looking at, is this a fine from $0 to $4,000 and jail from 0 days to 1 year. I don't think you want to come back here again. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You will perform 48 hours of community service restitution. You will submit to and participate in the MRT program. You'll submit to or participate in a gun safety course. During the next 10 months, you will not possess any firearm, period. Your supervisory fee will be $25 a month. You're to come in and put your thumbprint on the documents as required by law. And you're not to leave this meeting until you've met with Ms. Maricela Luna. Anything else, state or defense?
Nothing else from the state, Judge.
Nothing
Right.
from the defense, Judge.
Very good. On Mr. Albert Rendon. You have pled no contest to the charge of DWI first or misdemeanor B. The state has, your attorney has gotten disagreement from the state that lowers your punishment significantly, puts it in a different category. Based on your plea of no contest and the evidence, I find you guilty. And you are fined state,
$500 fine plus court costs. 180 days probated for 12 months. 48 hours community service. DWI intervention course. Victim impact panel.
Also, I have that Zoom thing.
TAP and follow all recommendations.
sorry, I didn't hear you after the victim impact panel.
Submit to the TAP evaluation and follow the recommendations. And ignition interlock for half the term.
Mr. Rendon, how do you make a living? First of all, do you have children you support?
Yes, Your Honor. I got 3,
What ages are they?
13, 11, and 6. 2 boys and 1 girl.
All right. And how do you make a living?
I'm an order selector for HEB warehouse, Your Honor.
All right. What is your income?
Roughly about 32 a month, 3,200 a month.
Does your wife work outside the house?
Yes, sir.
What does she do?
She's a loan management loan. She gives out loans.
All right. Mr. Rendon, do you agree that this is do you acknowledge this is the agreement you've made with the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are fined $500 plus court costs. You're sentenced to 180 days Bear County Jail. Suspended, probated for 12 months. You'll perform 48 hours community service restitution. You will submit to the DWI intervention program. You will do the victim impact panel program, the TAP evaluation and recommendations, the supervisory fee will be $43 a month. Am I missing anything, State?
No, Your Honor.
You have 1 week to come in and have your thumbprint placed on documents as required by law. Do not leave this meeting until you've met with Ms. Luna, who gets you started on the probation program. All right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good luck. Stay out of trouble.
Yo, most definitely, sir. Thank you very much.
You got a good job. Don't lose it because of drinking.
I will not, sir. I will not. I am done with that, sir. I promise you that.
Very good. Mr. Williams,
Sir.
you entered a plea of no contest to the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon. Based on your plea and the evidence, I find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. Instead, I am placing you on deferred adjudication for how long, State? Hello,
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Williams. 6
Yes.
months.
yes, 664697.
6 months, Judge.
All right. 6 months deferred adjudication. Your fine will be,
The fine is $300.
court costs,
24 community service hours. A gun safety course. And forfeiture of the weapon.
what is the weapon? Description, please.
Judge, I'll file a motion on it. I don't have that information right now.
Mr. Williams, is this your agreement?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Finch, is this your agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, I find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and including your plea, but I do not find you guilty. I'm granting you, as per your agreement, 6 months deferred adjudication. You're fined $300 plus court costs. You'll have 24 hours of community service restitution. You will submit to and complete in good faith a gun safety course. You will forfeit the weapon as per your agreement. Now, how do you make a living, sir?
I'm a home healthcare provider.
And more or less how much you're making per month?
I said about like 1,900, maybe 2,000.
All right, do you have children you support?
Yes, sir. I have two. I have a 7-year-old and I have a 1-year-old.
How old's the oldest?
7.
7, and then a 1-year-old?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does your wife or the mother of the children work outside the home?
No.
Okay. Then the court accepts the agreement. I have found that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not. You granted the deferred adjudication, as I mentioned. You will find $300 plus court costs. You'll perform 24 hours community service, gun safety course, forfeiture of the weapon. Your supervisory fee is set at $29 a month. You will come in within 1 week and have your thumbprint placed on the documents as required by law. And you will wait and stay in this meeting so that you can meet with Ms. Luna. Maricela Luna will get you started on the probation program. Any questions, state or defense?
No, sir.
Good luck and you stay out of trouble, sir.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh,
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. You're
Thank
excused.
you. Mr. Williams, give me a call if you have any questions.
Okay.
Alfred Garcia,
Yes, sir.
you entered a plea of no contest on the charge of I don't have this accurate. Was this DWI or obstruction?
It's an obstruction, Judge.
Hello?
Obstruction?
It's an obstruction, Judge. We're adding account 2. There's currently not account 2.
Okay. On the motion, which was granted or is granted, no, I've got to note, the motion was granted and you're now pleading no contest to the charge of obstruction of a passageway, highway, or waterway. Is that correct, Mr. Garcia?
Yes, sir.
All right. How do you make a living
I'm an installer for Builders Interior Products,
and how much you make in a month?
about 2,400.
You have children you support?
No, sir, and not married either.
All right. State, what is the deferred on this is for how long?
14 months.
All right. Fine.
$500.
plus court costs.
Yes, 48 community service hours,
All right,
DWI education, victim impact panel, the TAP evaluation, and ignition interlock for half the term.
all right. I'll accept the agreement. You are fined $500 plus court costs. You're granted deferred adjudication for 14 months. You will perform 48 hours community service restitution. You will complete the DWI education program, the victim impact panel, a TAP evaluation and recommendations. You'll have ignition interlock installed in your vehicle for a minimum of 6 months. You'll come in and have your thumbprint placed on the documents as required by law. You will stay here during this meeting and meet with Ms. Maricela Luna to get you started on the probation program.
Okay, sir.
Any questions, Mr. Alfred Garcia?
Yes, sir. On the interlock, I've had it for I think almost 3 years. I was just wondering if there was anything else we can do on that, or if that's just going to be what we're going to do.
State, I'll hear you on that.
Judge, on this one, the ignition interlock was part of the agreement, and we would ask to keep it as part of the agreement.
Defense?
Judge, we understand Mr. Garcia's concern. He's correct. It's been on for quite a while. And I guess essentially it would only be another 7 months. And if the court would entertain a lesser time, then of course, we think that would be fair.
Well, I have a little bit of a problem because you negotiated, and obviously in good faith with the state. They're saying you agreed to 7 months of ignition interlock. I'll make that 3 months just as a little bit of equity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Don't make me regret it, sir.
No, sir.
If
Your Honor.
If you make me regret it, I assure you, you will.
Your Honor, what were the supervisory fees?
Did I announce it? I thought I did. Let's see. $34. I may not have announced it, but I wrote it
Okay.
down.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. You stick around, meet with Ms. Luna. That was her voice you just heard.
Yes, sir.
All right, attorneys, let's talk to you about the rest of this docket. Wrap it up for today. What we got? Who we got?
So I've been waiting for my attorney and he hasn't appealed yet.
Molly,
Yes.
you put Judge Longoria in a breakout room?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Huh?
I was trying to move.
I'll bring him back.
Okay. Oh, I already brought him back. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, can you move him? I'm trying to, I think one person left.
I have Mr. Papa here in the courtroom.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Hey.
Did you bring it back, Patty? I was.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Hey, Patty, it's Nathan. Can I go back in a breakout room with Victoria Martinez, please?
Yes, sir. Hold on.
Thank you.
The attorney has to report. All
Judge,
right.
Oscar Hernandez, can I approach about tomorrow's docket?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Well,
Go ahead,
the-
Oscar.
Judge, I've got an Aero Carriers who's on page 3, at the very bottom of page 3 on the docket. He's got 2 misdemeanors set, but your docket notates that he's got a PSI set for 11/16 and 2/27 where they're going to TIC these misdemeanors. Originally, I thought we reset this to 11/19 because his PSI date is 11/16. But I just got notice yesterday that you want to have a docket tomorrow.
Sorry, Patty, I'm giving you
Patricia, what do you say about that?
I missed it, Judge. I have attorney B Robles in my office. I missed half of what Nathan said.
All right.
Sorry.
You want to repeat yourself, Oscar?
Yes, sir. On tomorrow's docket, page 3, the bottom, there's Aero Carrier who has 2 misdemeanors were set yesterday. He has a pending PSI, the 2/27 for 11/16 that is noted on your docket.
Yes.
When we talked about this case back on October 5th, I believe I was given the 19th of November, but I received an email yesterday stating it's now for tomorrow. These
So what do
cases
you-
will be PIC'd with the felony,
Okay, so move it to November 19th?
please. And by that time, it should be dismissed.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
You're a smooth talker, you, Oscar. You talked her into it.
I better leave before she changes her mind, Judge. Bye-bye.
Take care.
So, Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
I have attorney B Robles here. The lady, Ashley Garza, I believe she's in the courtroom. Anyway, she was supposed to, Ashley Garza was on yesterday's docket.
Okay.
So when Ms. Garza called yesterday afternoon to find out, what time she had to be here, Linda told her, to log in because she was late. She didn't log in the morning. So that's why she came to the office. Oh, she's in the courtroom. I can ask Thelma to bring her over here to my office so you can talk to her.
What's her case number?
Her case number is 61. I'm sorry.
right here.
From yesterday's docket, 670802. Ashley Garza.
And the charge?
Ask Thelma to bring her over here. She's charged with assault.
Bodily injury, married.
ABI married.
All right.
And Linda's bringing the defendant.
Thank you.
And Miss Robles is here in my office.
Okay. I see Mr. Raimundo Aleman decided to join us.
Yeah, he's been logged on since before you started taking the pleas, Judge, but I kept muting him because he was getting phone calls and I didn't want the noise to be heard by you.
I muted myself. And I finally found my client. He said he was always in the courtroom. I asked him, well, the judge called you out and you weren't there.
Judge, I still have Mr. Vela here in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
just to let you know.
Mr. Victor Vela was there when I called the docket at 9, Mr. Aleman. You were not.
I know, Your Honor, but when you called the docket that we were ready to proceed, you did not answer. So you did the other 6 or 7 people.
He's
Are
been
you
here.
ready now?
Yes, we're ready if he's there. Are you there, Mr. Vela?
He's here in the courtroom. He's right here, coming up to the Zoom.
All right. We'll call him up in a little bit for the plea.
And Your Honor, I'm also present, Attorney Michael De La Garza. This is for Joey Garcia. We have signed off and done the paperwork for a plea, and we're in line for that. However, since I am filling in for Courtney Hilliard, not substituting, I am unsure if the defendant's acknowledgements were signed and returned. And so if not, if I could have those sent to me so that the client and I can get them sent in. I think if anything's missing, that would be it. Otherwise, we've completed everything to proceed with today's plea deal. And I sent an email to Patty on that issue.
And Judge, that's correct. All of the state's paperwork on that case is completed.
What's the case number?
This is case number 621826. It's on page 2 of the docket. Joey Garcia.
Gotcha. So are we ready to proceed or not?
I have reviewed, I've explained to
Your
them all
Honor.
of the acknowledgements. However, I don't know if they've been signed and.
Judge, I haven't sent Mr. Garza de la Garza any paperwork. I have Attorney B. Robles. I am sorry to interrupt you, Mr. de la Garza, but apparently Ms. Robles needs to log back on in County Court 11. Amy Castaño is asking her to log on now in County Court 11 off of today's docket. And the lady that's sitting next to her is Ms. Ashley Garza from yesterday's docket. May Ms. Robles be excused to go log on to the County Court 11
Yes, ma'am.
docket? And are you gonna admonish Ms. Garza from being FTA'd yesterday? And can I just give them a new court date?
Yes, ma'am. You know, you can see how busy we are, ma'am. And when somebody doesn't show up like you did, and then they show up the next day, it always causes problems. If you do this again, there will be a punishment. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. I think she'll give her a reset, make sure that her attorney is made aware.
December 14th, Ms. Garza.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate it. You're welcome.
So on Joey Garcia, we're all ready. And on Mr. Raimundo Aleman's client, we're ready.
I need
Your
to
Honor,
check.
this is,
I need to check with Linda, Judge, on those other two.
Judge, I've been waiting for my attorney to appeal, but he hasn't appealed yet.
Who are we talking about?
Let me pull up his name.
What is your name, sir?
Nathaniel Ramos.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I have a question. It's me, Mari.
I'm listening.
On Mr. Fagelson, Your Honor, he does reside in Austin, Texas. I
Right.
was just gonna ask you, we can have him reside in Travis County, but report virtually through Zoom to Bear County?
I've authorized him to reside in Travis County and to travel in accordance with his work business needs, I have no problem adding to that, that he is to report virtually to Bear.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Fagelson, you can go ahead and leave.
Thank you.
So
Your Honor,
Judge,
this is Nathan.
Hello.
go ahead. Go ahead, Nathan.
Your Honor, Nathan Sleman, I just want to advise, I believe all the paperwork should be in now on Victoria Martinez, page 4. It's 659-744. I believe we should be ready to proceed on that as well.
Victoria Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And Victor Vela.
Third.
Patty, are both of them completed?
I don't know, Judge. I haven't been able to leave to go check with Linda.
You want to let me know?
May I please do that?
Please.
Thank you.
Judge, while she is checking on that, I had a quick question.
Say again.
While Patty's checking on that, I had a quick question about the motion to suppress that was set this afternoon. I'm not sure if Mr. Valdez appeared in docket this morning or not. I did speak to him and asked him if he would oppose a reset, and he told me he would not oppose a reset for this afternoon. But I don't know if you've talked to him yet about it.
Ms. Haas, I'm having a lot of trouble distinguishing some of the words you're saying. Your system there for some reason is a little bit difficult for me to hear.
Sorry, Judge. Is this any better?
Try it again.
Is this any better, Judge?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. I was saying that I spoke to Mr. Valdez, Robert Valdez, this morning regarding the motion to suppress that's set this afternoon.
Okay.
And I asked him if he would oppose a reset, and he told me he would not oppose a reset. But I don't know if he's appeared this morning or if he's spoken to you.
He has not spoken to me, no. Are y'all in agreement to reset it?
Yes, Judge. And I did email Patty and CC'd Robert Valdez on it, requesting a reset.
I don't see there's a problem then.
Okay, so can I let Mr. Valdez wanted me to let him know if you agreed or not, so he can let his client know.
Of course, when the state and defense make an agreement, it'd be a little unusual for me to not accept it.
Okay, thank you, Judge. I'll let Mr. Valdez know.
Thank you.
Okay, Your Honor, it appears that we're waiting. I'm sorry to interrupt. I need to get the plea paperwork to Mr. Aleman and Victor Vela on the court's paperwork. They have everything else.
So where am I? Have I signed what I need to sign?
Well, you've signed the first portion, the state's portion of it.
Do I need to go back to Adobe and look for it?
Well, I need to send it to Mr. Aleman and Mr. Vela, and then I need to send Mr. De La Garza and Joey Garcia his paperwork as well. You take
Well, let me know, 'cause I'm here.
less than 2 minutes, Judge.
What?
It should take me less than 2 minutes.
That's not a problem. Take 3 or 4, whatever you need, but I just so I'm not lost again. Again.
And I believe we're ready on Mr. Slamane's client, Victoria Martinez. Is that correct, Nathan?
I think so.
Is she a citizen?
She's
Yes,
a
Your Honor.
American citizen, Your Honor.
I just signed her paper just now. And on Rendon also. Patricia,
Yes, sir.
where are we on Victoria Martinez with Mr. Nathan Slamane? What?
I believe we were just waiting for what
Yeah,
you just signed.
I just signed the paper on that.
Yes,
How about
Yes.
Victor Vela on Mr. Ray
I-
Aleman?
that's the one I asked you if I needed 2 minutes to send this to them.
Okay. And then we have a third one, don't we? Another
Yes,
one?
sir. On Joey Garcia, attorney Michael de la Garza.
What's the case number?
The case number is 621-826.
621-826.
826. And Your Honor, while I'm doing this is there's attorney David Dilly is in outside your office. Can may he go see you?
Yes, ma'am. This is, repeat again for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, he doesn't need to see you. I'm sorry.
I don't blame him. 621-826.
On Joey Garcia, Judge? Yes, sir.
That's
Page 2.
Senator Joey Garcia.
Yes, sir.
And the charge is,
DWI plus
and the attorney is De La Garza.
Michael de la Garza.
And I'm stepping in for attorney Courtney Hilliard, not substituting, just in his shoes for today.
Is Michael de la Garza doing that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So we have Joey Garcia, Victoria Martinez, and Victor Vela ready to go, just about.
Just about, Judge. I'm still trying to use my 2 minutes.
That's no problem. You can take 5 if you want.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Judge, I found my attorney's name. It was Michael J. Collins. I've tried contacting him, but there was no such luck.
And who is speaking?
Nathaniel Ramos.
Nathaniel Ramos.
Yes, sir.
Well, looks like you're SOL today, huh?
Yeah.
That's a technical expression,
Mhm.
no misunderstanding. Seriously out of luck.
Yeah, I have woken an hour and a half too, so I was wondering if I could possibly do something.
Mr. I'm sorry, here I'm jumbled up in mine. All right. Tell me your name.
Nathaniel Ramos.
Do you know your case number?
Let me go look it up right now.
Well, that's okay. You said your attorney, you're supposed to be in court today,
Yes, sir.
and your attorney is who?
Michael J. Collins.
Okay, let me see if we can find him that way. There it is. All right, that is on the third page of my docket, 644878. Michael Collins, no response. Mr. Nathaniel Ramos, I'm gonna reset your case for 2 weeks. Can you come back in 2 weeks?
Yes, sir. I can do that.
I'm sorry that you're having to waste all your morning. I will see to it that Mr. Collins is made aware that that you were here and that he was not. And there was apparently no contact from him.
No, not from today.
All right, then you will be excused at this time.
All right. Thank you so much, Judge.
You're welcome. Take care. Stay safe.
Have a nice day. Thank you.
Okay, Your Honor, the paperwork has been sent to Attorney Michael de la Garza and Attorney Ray Aleman on their clients. As soon as they sign it, you should go to their clients and then it goes to you and then to Russell.
Patricia,
Yes, sir.
on the first or second page, there's a case for Michael Collins as the attorney.
What page, Judge?
Let me see.
Third, page 3.
Okay,
Daniel Ramos.
that's correct. I have excused Mr. Ramos. He's been waiting all morning. Mr. Collins never did contact us. Did he contact you by any chance?
I can check emails now,
Find out,
Judge.
because I'm resetting it, recalling it in 2 weeks. And please let Mr. Collins know that his client was here all morning. It was his obligation to let his client know if he wasn't going to be here. In my opinion, that is.
Okay, Judge. Yes, sir. I'm gonna check on that. I also have a question from ADA, Ms. Haas. I don't know if she's already asked you about this afternoon's motion to suppress.
With Robert Valdez, that's been, by agreement, that's been reset.
I thought that the announcement was on Andrew Del Cueto's motion to suppress for tomorrow.
Ms. Haas informed me that she and Robert Valdez had agreed to reset today's 1:30 hearing. And I informed her that if they were in agreement, I certainly had no objection to that. That's perfectly up to them to do so.
Okay, so she was just asking because she needs to she wanted to know if she could let her officers go.
Yeah, I told her, I said, hey, if there's a state and defense agree, I'm not gonna question it.
Okay, Judge.
Did we ever hear from Adrian Perez on Vicente Leja?
He logged on, Judge, and then he said he had to go to felony courts. And let me see what he said. That was the last thing he said. Adrian. Oh, okay. He logged on. He wanted to know if we could reset his client because of felony spending. And I told him that his client was a no-show, that he had a week to have him log on. And there was an FTA, and he said, thank you. He had to go to felony court 187.
There you go. We never heard from Eddie Bravenec anymore, right?
No, I got a message from him. I got a message from his office regarding Ruben Gonzalez. Attorney had a family emergency and was not going to be logging on. That was his office calling.
Mr. Bravenec has had 3 or 4 appearances for several months, being or informing us of family emergencies. Are things that serious for him?
No, say I don't know, Judge. This is what the message was. Attorney had a family emergency, won't be coming in.
Okay. So Ruben Gonzalez, I guess we'll just reset him 30 days. If the attorney has excused himself, they probably told the client that it's going to be reset. ¿Verdad que sí?
Well, the gentleman is incarcerated, and I didn't order him because he's got the felony pending.
Well, by golly, no wonder he didn't show up. They don't have recess at the jail time.
No.
¿Verdad que no? Okay,
Mr. De La Garza and Mr. Aleman, have you and your client signed off on the paperwork so Judge Longoria can locate
I
it?
am finding that they're having a hard time. I am blind, you know. This stuff was not filled out.
And on the Joey Garcia case, I have filled out my side and sent it to my client for signature.
Okay. I'm not sure what you want to do with Mr. Aleman, Judge. He's saying,
I'm filling it out as quickly as I can. I'll send it right to you.
well, after you sign it, it goes to your client. If your client can make sure he's logged on to his email so he can sign it as soon as it gets delivered to him. Mr. Vela,
Yeah, I'm here. I'm checking it.
thank you.
so we're supposed to have three pleas pending: Victor Vela, Victoria Martinez, and Joey Garcia. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I better look again to the, what you call it? Okay, let's see, manage.
I
I don't have anything to sign on Adobe.
Not yet, Judge, because Mr. De La Garza's client is, I guess, just signing it. Joey Garcia.
Yes, I'm going through the paperwork now. I'm just filling it out and
Okay,
gonna submit
so
it.
as soon as he's done, Judge, it should go to you.
Is it raining this